Class. Once again, this is your Professor Wilmore here to present another lecture on African American History 101. Right here, we have a picture of the Alpha chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. It's at Howard University in Washington, D.C. But let's get right to it. So, our objective for today, historians will be able to understand the development of HBCUs and Black Greek letter organizations. Our essential question: should non-African Americans be able to join the D9? There has been a number of different arguments and thought and think pieces on whether or not non-African Americans should be able to join, given the context of their development and why they were created in the first place. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about that, dig into some history of HBCUs and other things. So let's get right to it. So here you have your origins of HBCUs, and we got Cheney, which is going to be your first HBCU, 1837, founded by a man named Richard Humphreys, black man, with the assistance of the AMA, American Missionary Association. You have Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, 1854, and they come from a white man, John Miller Dickey. Of course, and then Wilberforce, 1856, and that's going to be your first HBCU founded for us, by us, with the AME Church. Um, I kind of want to go back to Cheney real quick. I want to hit on that. The AMA, American Missionary Association, had the same objective as the government when they were secluding Native Americans. And so they wanted to assimilate black people. And I've seen this argument a long time ago about a guy saying that there were HBCUs that were indoctrination systems. And he was totally correct, because some HBCUs were not created just to educate you. They were created to educate you within a certain sphere and mindset, given the context of who gave you that school to begin with. And so we have that with Cheney and a number of different colleges that were founded by the AMA. So here we have a few white HBCU founders: William Jefferson White, Morehouse, your all males college, Harriet Giles, and Miss Packard, Spelman, your all girls school. We have Sam Armstrong from Hampton, and he's going to usher in one of the more controversial leaders in the black community with Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington is going to walk, give or take, 500 miles just to get to school. And when he gets to Hampton, or to get to Hampton originally, when he gets there, he has this test that he has to do. It. It's really just to clean bathroom, clean his room. And so that just gives you the original curriculum of Hampton, how they wanted to keep black people um, working with their hands instead of getting a liberal education. So just to give you context on the questionable curriculums and ideologies that some HBCUs have had. William Claflin of Claflin, he was really for the people, him and his son. Uh, Claflin had an opportunity to move to Atlanta and merge with another college, but it never happened. Yeah, Otis Oliver Howard um, lost his arm during the Civil War. This guy was very similarly to the AMA. He uh, had the pleasure for him, but maybe not so Native Americans, but the pleasure of assimilating and massacring many of Native Americans. And so another white man named after a school that wasn't too great of a person, give or take. And of course, John Miller Dickey of Lincoln University, which I've kind of already talked about. So now for D9 culture. So here you see a picture of the Divine Nine, or what the Egyptians knew as the Great Need. And so Need just means nine. So similarly, nine gods, 5 male, 4 female. Similarly, today in the Divine Nine, we have 5 male organizations, 4 women organizations. PowerPoint like it's stuck. Okay, here we go. Here we have, to be more specific, to get into D9, the 9 organizations: Alpha Phi Alpha 1906, Alpha Kappa Alpha 1908. Then you have the Kappas 11, Qs 1911, Delta Sigma Theta, who emerged out of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and so forth. And so these organizations were essentially created because originally Black students did not have the opportunity to join white fraternities or sororities. And there was actually a few alphas who worked in white fraternity houses. And so they're going to get a number of different ideas from these white fraternities that we see are going to make trends in the Divine Nine. And so a lot of Divine Nine members don't even understand that some of the modern things that they do came directly from white fraternities. Now your origins of pledge, and here you see um, some kids in Africa, West Africa, going through a rites of passage ceremony. And so here they're secluded from the community, and specifically this happens around 12 or 13. In different tribes in Africa, there's no such thing as a teenager. Um, right from 12, 13-ish, you go from boy to man. And this is determined by if you complete your rites of passage. And so once again, they're secluded from the community. And during this time, they're learning the secrets of the tribe. They're put through a number of different challenging tasks, physically and mentally. They're circumcised, all these other things are going on during their rites of passage. And so whenever they complete this journey, it takes about 2 weeks, they rejoin the community and they celebrate. They have a ceremony. Before that, they get their heads shaved, similarly to some fraternities today. And that ceremony that they have within the tribes in Africa is very similar to what you know today as a probate. Here's the ladies in their ceremony. The origins of strolling. And so today you may see fraternities and sororities strolling in circles, specifically maybe at homecoming, at parties, or other events. Well, this comes directly from slavery, which extends from Africa. So Africans, specifically West Africans, uh, who practice spirituality, they would praise different gods while moving in a circular motion. So making a circle, so one after the other through a circle, and they would make music with their, once again, with their bodies, and uh, that literal ring shout would evolve into strolling today. Gumbo dancing. Gumbo dancing um, is where we get stepping. And so stepping isn't really too popular today. Takes a lot of work. And so a lot of younger members aren't willing to work, honestly. And so that's why stepping is dying down. But gumbo dancing started 150 or so years ago, South Africa, enslaved Africans working in the mines. And so there was a number of different people from a number of different places. And so a lot of these people did not have the same language. So what do? You create a universal language. And so this universal language was sounds and patterns and movements of the body and of the feet. And boots that they used to make this sound, they were called gum boots with bells at the end. And the people making these sounds, that's how they would communicate, because you also were not allowed to verbally speak in these mimes. So that was another example of how Africans can make nothing out of something. Then specifically, we want to talk about the first white members of a few organizations. Bernard Levin, he's going to be the first white member of Alpha Phi Alpha, 1946, University of Kansas, a little around the way of where I'm from. And we got Marjorie Ware and Olivia Young, the first white members of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So here's a picture of Mr. Levin, Brother Levin. And then you got Jane Addams, who's in the middle, and she was the first honorary white woman member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. And additionally, Jay Mulholland of Delta Sigma Theta to the left, and she was actually a freedom rider. So she was directly involved in the movement.